Welcome to the Trip Tales podcast with me, Kelsey Graves. Let's jump into a new episode exploring a vacation destination that you'll want all the details about. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 29 of Trip Tales. Today we are going to be hearing about an epic mother-daughter trip between two friends and their daughters, exploring the beautiful city of Amsterdam and attending a little concert, just the Eras Tour with Taylor Swift. As a travel lover and proud Swiftie, I can't wait to dive into this episode. But first, I have to thank last week's buymeacoffee.com supporters, Donna and Allie. Donna bought me 5 coffees and wrote, "Enjoy all the podcasts and have learned so much. Thank you." Well, Donna, thank you for keeping my coffee cup full and my mic on. And Allie, who was our Nantucket guest on episode 27, bought me 3 coffees, writing that she had so much fun on the podcast and to keep the travel tips and tricks coming. So thank you to both Donna and Allie. Your support truly means the world to me. And with that, let's introduce today's guests. Today, we are joined by 2 friends, Judy and Wendy, who took this trip to Amsterdam together. So ladies, I start every episode with a rapid fire get to know you. So tell everyone where you live, what you do, and about your family. Judy, why don't you go first, since you were the one who emailed me about sharing this trip on the podcast initially?
Happy to. My name is Judy Oscom, and I live in Round Rock, Texas, and that's how I met Wendy. I'm a university professor, and I have a podcast called Stories of Change and Creativity. And I've known Wendy for, gosh, how long, Wendy? And I'll pitch it to you. You can take it from there.
Oh my gosh. I think our kids were in first grade when they met. So I have to do some 18 years maybe.
Fast math.
Years.
Wow,
Yes.
that's so cool.
So I'm Wendy Conklin. I also live in Round Rock, and I am a chair stylist. My business is called Chair Whimsy. So I do fun chairs and teach other people how to do what I do. And really to commemorate this whole getting this tour, getting to go on this Eras Tour concert, I created a set of Taylor Swift inspired chairs, one for each album. And so that's kind of my story. I love to do fun chairs.
I went to your Instagram and I saw that, and I was scrolling so far back looking at all the Taylor Swift Eras chairs. You guys have got to go check out Chair Whimsy's Instagram account, and these super cool. She did a chair for each era and they are so amazing. And I was like, please tell me Taylor Swift has seen this.
Well, I'm trying. I'm working
Yes.
on it. So yeah, it's in the works.
I feel like of course, she's like so untouchable and unreachable, but I feel like she would really think that's cool and would love those in her home, or I don't know. I feel like we've got to get to Taylor Swift with these chairs.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'm with you on that. So yeah, they'll be auctioned off in October. I'm doing a big party and auction at my home, and we're gonna donate the proceeds to a local food shelter here.
Oh, very cool. Okay, we'll be following along for that. And then y'all have some daughters, which were part of this trip too. So share about your kids as well.
Well, I'll start. Both of our daughters are the same ages. So they went through school together, and my oldest daughter, Danielle, is 26, and my youngest is Jessica, and she's 23.
Right. And so my daughters are Jordan, which is my youngest at 23, and Reagan is 26. And it's funny because 2 of our daughters, like one of Judy's and one of mine, both live away. So it was a matter of us all getting together and coordinating this trip. So it's a lot of fun.
I mean, honestly, the mother-daughter component, Amsterdam, Taylor Swift, the fact that you guys got this all to work out, it sounds like such a dream. So tell us how this trip came to be. How did you guys start working on planning it?
Well, it happened in your house, right? It happened in your house, Wendy.
Right. So it was all about my daughters and I wanting to get tickets. And we really tried here in the U.S. to get tickets.
Yes, I did too. I have failed over and over again.
Yeah, we could not get selected to save our life. Like we were all registered, all ready to go, couldn't get selected. So we didn't get to go. And Central America came up, the Eras Tour there. And I said, well, would you guys want to try to get Mexico? And they weren't interested. And so then we knew Europe was going to come. And so we began talking, okay, it's going to be a lot of money, but it's going to be a lot of money no matter where you go, even in the US, because, prices will be higher wherever tour is going to be. And so we just said, well, okay, let's plan on Europe. And when we saw the release dates of where they were going to be, we said, okay, we're willing to go to these several ones. So the three of us got on there and registered. And I think Judy's daughters may have done the same thing. So the girls all registered, but we weren't talking necessarily about going together at that point, but then it just kind of happened. And it was like, well, why don't we see if we can get tickets together? But the trick was you can only get 4 tickets at a time. And so, one person. And so my daughter was selected. I think I was selected. So she tried to get the Paris trip tickets. And that crashed, it was all in the middle of the night. It crashed. And then we were up for the Lyon tickets, which was coming. So we were Judy's oldest and my youngest and myself at 5 a.m. We're at my kitchen table here with our laptops, coffee in hand. We're like, okay, we're going to get these tickets, because we were selected, all 3 of us. And so between the 3 of us, someone should get them. Well, like 5 minutes before it went live, we got the email. It had crashed because of the Paris thing. So it was all the Ticketmaster drama. So then that was postponed. And so the next one coming up was Amsterdam. And that honestly was not my choice. I would have wanted to go to Lyon because I've been there before. I really love it. I would have been okay with even going to Milan. But, we thought, or Edinburgh, so there were several that we liked that at least someone in the group was selected for. So we ended up, Amsterdam came up the following week. So my daughter took my selection and her selection to be able to participate. She had 2 laptops and she went to town to get us tickets. So eventually it ended up that we were able to get 4 tickets in one spot and 2 more tickets in another. And then Judy said, well, I'll go, so we said, okay, so that now we have a trip, 2 moms and, so it didn't quite start out to be that way, but it ended up being that way. So it was perfect the way it worked out.
You guys were committed to this ticket process.
We were. They were texting saying, Dublin's up. What do we think about Dublin? Everyone's texting. What do we think about Milan? And it was just crazy back and forth.
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember how much the tickets cost? I just have to know because she's coming to my hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana, which is just 4 hours north of me on I-65 from Nashville. My parents still live there. So many of my friends live there. I'm like, she's coming to Indianapolis, and I was on all the apps the other night. I mean, $3,500 for nosebleeds. I'm like, what is happening? So anyways, how much did they cost in Amsterdam?
Well, I thought that they were like around 400 a piece, but we were all VIPs. And so it might've been 400 or 500 a piece. It wasn't bad. It's just the traveling, the airfare that costs, of course, quite a bit more and things like that.
But might have ended up being less than the Indianapolis show for, 6 people.
Right.
All right. Well, congrats on getting your tickets. The logistics of a group trip like this can be a bit tricky to figure out. So let's talk about how you all got from the States to Amsterdam.
My husband is from Holland, so we were going to stay a little bit longer. So that made Amsterdam really a fun option for us. So for us, I think it was cheaper than buying in the States. Not that we could get tickets either, but Jess and I and my husband went over, and then my daughter Danny had gotten those tickets to Lyon, and she just went ahead and bought them randomly. So she had 3 other tickets to sell that she sold to a friend and then made a trip of it. So she stayed in Lyon for a little bit, traveled around a little bit, and ended up in Amsterdam.
Oh my gosh, so fun. I'm so happy for her.
I know it. I'm so happy for her too. At one point, she went skydiving in Switzerland. She told me after, which I'm glad she told me
my
after.
My best friend did that when we went to Switzerland. She goes, we're not going to tell my mom. And I was like, I don't feel good about this because I was not going to skydive. She skydived and told her mom afterwards. And I was just like, how many people do that in Switzerland? That's probably like a common thing.
It probably is. So we ended up over there, and then Wendy, her girls went differently.
Yeah. So I was actually in upstate New York for the summer. We went away to a cabin up in upstate New York to escape the Texas heat. And so my youngest daughter had decided to come up with us for the month of June. And so her and I flew out of Newark and flew United, and it was a direct flight Thank
Nice.
goodness. I mean, gosh, and it's so much easier than coming from Texas, like going to Europe. It was like a breeze. So that was really wonderful. My youngest daughter, though, had to fly out of Amarillo, and she, I think, went on American Airlines and flew, and she had a couple stops before she got there. But, we all landed within about an hour, hour and a half of each other. And so we just sat around the airport and waited for her to get in, and then we all went through customs together, and it kind of worked out nicely that way.
That's super impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that the concert you were attending was on July 4th, 4th of July. So when did you arrive in Amsterdam and how much time did you have before it was concert time?
Well, we arrived on that Monday. So we took off Sunday evening and arrived on Monday, and the concert was Thursday night. So I wanted to make sure, in case our kite flight was canceled because of weather or something happened, I wanted to make sure that we were going to be there. So once we got there Monday, Monday's kind of a waste because you're so tired. I mean, we did some sightseeing and stuff, but really Tuesday and Wednesday were the days for sightseeing. Thursday, we're kind of gearing up for the concert and everything. So we
Getting
really
dressed.
had two full days. Now, Judy came in, I think, a day later than us, didn't you, Judy?
Yeah. We left Monday on KLM from Austin and went direct from KLM and got there then Tuesday morning.
Okay.
So we were there Tuesday for the concert, then on Thursday. So.
Hey, Trip Tales listeners. So you all know how much I absolutely love creating content for Trip Tales, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to combine their love for travel and chatting with amazing people? But let's be real. As much fun as this is, travel content creation can be a bit pricey. From flights to hours of editing, while I juggle the chaos of being a mom of 3, it's a wild but awesome ride. But guess what? There's this super cool website called buymeacoffee.com that was made specifically for creators like me and coffee lovers like, well, all of us. You can now support Trip Tales by literally buying me a coffee. Trust me, this busy mom could use a little caffeine boost to keep bringing you all the travel tales and tips you love. Plus, here's the fun part. If you do buy me a coffee, I'll give you a special shout out by name in the next episode. So, if you enjoy the podcast and want to support the show and my grocery bill, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/Kelsey Graves or click the link in the show notes. A huge thank you in advance for considering it and for keeping my coffee cup full and my mic on. All right, now let's dive back into today's episode. And then where did you all stay? Were you all staying at the same place when you first arrived to Amsterdam?
No, in fact, I have a friend who has a company called Destinations Imagined, who is in the travel business. And I've never really done this before. I usually book all my other stuff, but she went ahead and found some great hotels. She found one for us called the WestCord Art Hotel. And it was out a little ways from city centers, but it was super easy to catch a bus. It just came right in front. So we did all public transportation when I was there. And we caught a bus, and then Judy was more in the center of the city. But the thing that I liked that she thought about for us when she booked our hotels was that, you need a place with some air conditioning. I mean, like not everything has air. I mean, it's just things that we don't think about, that to sleep at night, most of us need a cooler environment, right? And so she thought about things like that. The place that we were at was kind of funky and cool. It was really clean. And it had air conditioning. So that was a big plus for us.
Well,
Nice.
and my husband worked with her as well and got some hotels. We stayed at an ibis hotel, and it was right near the central train station, which was really handy. And it happened to have just a really cool lobby area. So Wendy and the girls would come over and we'd hang out there, and we'd sort of made that sort of a central starting point when we started doing walking and running. And of course, when everyone had to get dressed for Taylor, so
Yeah.
it was fun. Yeah.
Okay, paint the picture of downtown Amsterdam. I've been to Europe a handful of times and kind of done the backpacking thing in college, but I've never been to Amsterdam. So what are you seeing as you're walking around those first few days?
Well, there's all kinds of super cool buildings. So I've only been to Amsterdam. Like when my girls were little, we had a layover of like 8 hours, and we went to the Anne Frank house, and that's it. And then we went back to the airport and flew out. So I have not ever really experienced Amsterdam. So I know Judy has many times, but for us, I just remember it's just cobblestone streets, really cool buildings. I mean, from all kinds of neat homes, but also businesses, and they're all kind of sandwiched together. And then the canals are running down everywhere. So, I mean, like, it's just very, very picturesque. Watch out for the bicyclists. It's not romantic to be run over by a bike, and that can definitely happen there. But you know, I wouldn't be brave enough to ride a bike in Amsterdam. I
No.
would do it out in the countryside, but no way there, because the one of the problems is the e-bike. And they were telling us there's a lot more accidents because people are starting to do e-bikes and they don't control the speed. So you definitely have to watch where you're walking,
Mhm.
you know, that you don't get hammered by one of the bikes. But you know, it was just very, very picturesque, not necessarily ADA compliant for anybody who would be in a wheelchair or have trouble
Yeah.
walking. It's not, I mean, you know, they don't have what we have here. But if you are healthy, you can walk around, no problem. It's really great. It's very picturesque, very walkable too, to see a lot. But the public transportation was easy everywhere you go. So it was
And there's
nice.
coffee shops, there's little grocery stores. You could grab lunch or breakfast or croissant anywhere you go.
Yeah,
Um,
bars, really cute
bars.
bars that you can sit down and have a drink. It's really nice.
And did you guys just kind of wander and find your way throughout those 2 days, or did you have particular like sightseeing destinations you were trying to get to and like check the box on certain places?
Well, we had kind of both. Like, we did wander around the first day, the first full day that we were there. We just decided to just pick some places and go explore and take the public transport. You know, so we went to like a little museum and kind of looked around and did a lot of sightseeing that way and shopping in the little stores. Like, I found a cool antique shop, you know, so that was really neat. And then the second full day that we had, we went on a windmill farm tour, and it was really nice. It was a maximum of 8 people. And again, our destinations imagined person booked this for us, but it was, Judy, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Zans Shans, is that how you say it? I
I'm not
think.
sure.
Anyway,
but I've been on that one too. So
yeah,
I've
We'll,
been to
we'll
that
look it
one.
up and we'll put it in
Yeah.
the show notes so
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
can find it.
It's really amazing because he takes you in a little van, and it was so personable. Like, not only did he take us to the windmill farms, give us the tour, talk to us about how old these things are, how people are volunteers coming, keeping them going. I mean, because it's so picturesque. It's like what you would think Holland, Netherlands to be. But just the cuteness of the little village and the little homes around it with the little tiny gardens. And I mean, it's absolutely adorable. They're hundreds of years old and people are still living in them full time. It's
Wow.
their homes. And then he drove us around just extra afterward to all these other little cool neighborhoods that are all off of these really neat canals, and talked to us about how they would flood the land and how now it's not flooded and why, and, you know, the different kinds of farms. I mean, it was really a lot of fun. I'm so glad we did it because we wouldn't have gotten outside of Amsterdam, the city. And it really wasn't that far of a drive, like 30-35 minutes to get to this area. And it was just so beautiful.
One thing, Kelsey, for your listeners, if they do go to Amsterdam, you've got to do the canal boat ride because it takes you everywhere, and they have glass tops. So even if it's raining, which there's a lot of rain there, it's sort of like Seattle a lot, but that shows you so much of the city, and you get it in it. You can even do one that serves pizza and does all kind of things there. But I think that's something that's really a big deal. I know Wendy and her daughters went to the Rijksmuseum, which is a famous museum to go to.
I
It's
would
just,
also say get tickets ahead of time.
for
Like,
sure.
we were able to get into that museum, but we wanted to go to the Van Gogh museum, and we didn't have tickets. Wait, and I think you're talking like a month, several months ahead of time. You got to
out.
get your ticket. So just plan if you want to do it. Like, we went up to the door and said, "Did anyone cancel today that we could get in?" And of course, they said no, get out of here. But you know, I would definitely get things like that way in advance.
All of this stuff sounds amazing. Thank you for all those tips. You've mentioned public transportation a handful of times. Did you have like a pass that got you on and off of everything? Like, how does the public transportation work over there?
Yeah, it was so super easy. So you just need your credit card. And when you get on, you scan the credit card and you get a seat. And then when you leave, you scan the credit card again as you walk out. So there were scans at the front of the bus, middle bus, and back of the bus where the exits were. And so you just scan it when you get on, scan it when you get off, and it charges you for the trip. And so it was so easy. You didn't need a special app. You didn't need anything but just to scan the credit card. And that made it so super easy. And I think it was kind of the same way even on the trams, wasn't it, Judy?
Right.
It was
and Apple Pay. I know Jess used Apple Pay a little bit, and she, could do the double click thing on her phone.
So when you're saying scan a credit card, like your own personal credit card, you just scan it and that's so easy. That's amazing.
It was so easy. Yeah, it was so great.
Okay. And at this point, as you're walking around and exploring and doing all of your touristy stuff, have Swifties started to overtake the city?
Yes.
I mean, we saw them in the airport.
Everywhere.
They were in the airport, on the airplane,
on the plane
that we were on.
Yes.
I mean, it's like you knew who it was. Like it was easy. Yeah,
is so fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was fun to see everybody, and everybody was checking out everybody's outfit and doing the fit check, and everything. So
yes. Tell us about some of the restaurant highlights or anything memorable in terms of coffee shops and what type of food you find over in Amsterdam.
Yeah, I'll start on that one, and I'll warn I know it's a family audience here, because in Amsterdam you will be walking, and our favorite Chinese restaurant is right inside the red light district.
Okay, yes.
So you'll be walking in there, and there you see the windows, and they're very professional, very, very well done. But you just need to know that that's going to be there. So
yes,
we have a favorite Chinese restaurant. I can't tell you the name of it. I can get that for you. But
okay, we'll put it in the notes.
We've gone for 30 years back and forth, my husband's family. So I will warn people about that.
You're like, you head to the red light district
and you
then
take a left.
Yeah.
And then this other restaurant we ate at was right near the sex museum. So, I mean, there's just that.
Yeah.
But you have to know that that's just part of what Amsterdam is like. And, but it is very child friendly, and they love people and pets and animals and all kinds of things. So we had some great pizza there. We went to that first night we went to, we had bitterballen, which is a famous Dutch, and Wendy had the most beautiful drink. It was, I can send you the picture, Kelsey.
It sounds like you're saying what's the food?
Yeah, bitterballen is sort of like it's a traditional, it's like a goulash kind of a stew inside a fried deal.
Yeah,
so looks like a hush puppy. It's what it looks like on the outside.
Yeah. And then a croquette is similar. It's just a little bit different shape. And they have places there that you can go to, and you can eat out of what they call the wall, and you put your money in. It's like a little vending machine in the wall, but the cooks are on the back of it putting in hot food in the slots.
Wow.
So it's kind of just an amazing thing that we always take visitors. You have to go to the wall. You have to see how you can get something out of the wall.
Super efficient. Just grab your food out of the wall.
It was fun.
And French fries are a huge thing
French
there,
fries
evidently.
and mayonnaise. French fries and a certain kind of mayonnaise, not ketchup. Wendy didn't like that at all. But
that sounds to me almost like an aioli type dip.
Kind of like that. Yes. Yeah. But we had some great cocktails there. Wendy had this great cocktail, and it was pink. Of course, pink is her color. So
I know I tried to wear a nice fine print.
You did a good job. So it was a cotton candy drink. It was called cotton candy. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a pretty pink little drink. And it was a pink little drink with a gigantic thing of cotton candy on top of it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I love cotton candy. So it's perfect.
That is so fun. Okay. We have to talk about the concert, getting ready for the concert. I actually want to know everything, but we could do another episode on Taylor Swift specifically.
Right.
But did you bring special outfits? I'm sure your daughters did. God. What did you guys wear?
Wendy,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wendy.
So I had an outfit. I had a skirt made for me because of my chairs. We did a big photo shoot for them, and they're actually on the cover of What Women Create magazine right now. Just came out yesterday. So I had to do a photo shoot, and so we had a skirt made. So I took that with me, and the skirt has different tiers kind of representing the colors of the eras.
Incredible.
And so I wore that with a black and white stripe top, just kind of resembling the Red album, so I was trying to dress like my chairs a little bit. So that's what I had. Although all of us, no, not your daughters, but my daughters were like, we're all wearing tennis shoes. We don't care how ridiculous it looks. We're wearing tennis shoes because of so much walking.
Yes, I would do the same.
Standing.
Absolutely. I recently went to a country concert and all these girls were in cowboy boots with heels and I was in my sneakers and I'm like, y'all look cute, but you're going to be walking home barefoot and I'm going to still be in my sneakers.
Yeah. So we wore tennis shoes, with our outfits and everything just to make it so, because we knew we'd be standing most of the night anyway at the concert too. So we were just trying to be practical, but my daughters brought their outfits. One kind of went more with a fearless look and the other one went with a torture poets department look, so it was really great. And of course we had the friendship bracelets. How about yours, Judy?
Jess was midnight, right?
Okay.
And Jess made these huge friendship bracelets that were huge across.
Oh, cool. Like a garland.
Yes, like a big set. She didn't make them for us, but she made them for her friend Jordan. So that's okay. Yeah. And Danny was, I don't know what Danny was. I was sort of, I was the least decked out, and they had to force me. I was sort of tortured poets, sort of, but
anyway. It was good. She did a good job.
It was fun. I can send you the picture.
So fun. Where were your seats in the stadium?
We were a little bit if you're facing the stage, we were over on the right-hand side, maybe just up in the mezzanine. So we weren't too far away. It was really nice. There were much higher nosebleeds than we were. So we were in a good spot over to the side. And what was so good about that, and two of the girls had to sit kind of directly straight on toward the back. So they were kind of on the same level as us, but just in a different location because we had to get 6 tickets. Right. But we were in a good spot over to that side. We didn't realize that that's where Taylor went in. They had pushed out a box and she was in there.
I've seen all screaming.
So we all know that she's in there. But when she came out, like the dancer started after the concert started coming out, she's going to come out. She's going to come out. And sure enough, she did. She came out. She waved to all of us and everything.
She waved to us individually. Yes, we know she did.
Wendy, I see you.
And Taylor and Kelsey, Travis wasn't there that night, and that was unfortunate. Right. He was there the next night, but this way we had her all to ourselves. That's what I say.
She was like, Wendy, I've seen the chairs. I'm reaching out to you soon.
We're keeping our fingers crossed on that.
Okay, I've obviously seen the Eras movies. I've watched it live on TikTok, like someone filming the show, and I'm like pretending I'm there. But tell me high level what it was like to be there in real life, just kind of your take on the Eras tour.
For me, it was just fantastic. And again, I am such a fan now. I've always been a fan of the lyrics, but the performance and the detail and the beautiful, everything from every motion and every piece of fabric. And it was so well thought of from a creative aspect that it was amazed. But the best part was being there with our daughters. I was sitting with Wendy and her 2 daughters because my 2 daughters got what we thought were the better seats, but I really think ours were better. So, but it was just fantastic.
Yeah, I would ditto all of that. And I would say that, even if you're in the nosebleed section, it's an amazing experience because the screens are so gigantic. You can see up close, even if you're way, way far up. And I've heard other people say it who have sat up there and they're like, it's still amazing.
It is.
So, and I think another thing is all the energy in the room is just like to see, especially from our perspective, to see all these younger, mostly women, but there were guys there too. But to see this younger group of people so empowered by the lyrics, enjoying the show, it was such a happy thing. And traffic getting in, as far as getting our bodies into the stadium and getting out was jam-packed. Really bad, but everyone was so kind and nice. It was a very wonderful atmosphere. And it was just so great as a parent to see your kids having a ball, but feeling empowered and all these other people, participating in that way. It's just, I wish this music had been around when I was a young woman, because that voice of that empowerment that she gives to people, just wasn't there when I was younger. And so I appreciate that now that she's doing that and someone's doing that for our daughters.
Yes, I am such a super Swiftie and I play it all the time in my house. I have 2 daughters as well. I also have a son, but I love her so much. And whenever anybody tries to like hate on her or try to spin what she's doing in a negative way, I am like the first to be like, no, I like fight for her. I was recently talking to a couple of friends who it wasn't about the Eras tour, but they planned a trip around a concert. And I was like, this is such a great idea. I've never really done that before. But actually, before this call, I was looking up different artists and comedians that I like and just looking at their tours because I'm like, what a way to kind of pinpoint a trip like, oh, someone I love is going to be in Colorado or California. Let's make a trip around that. I've never really thought to plan a trip that way. And then you've got a fun vacation and a fun thing to do in the evening, one of the nights. Obviously, Taylor Swift is like, the dream, but it's a good idea to plan a vacation that way.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And I tell you what kind of got us thinking about this, is I did a study abroad last summer and we did London and Hamburg. We did 5 days in each. And while we were talking to the students on Zoom, getting them ready, the students were Googling and finding out that Harry Styles is in London when we were there and Beyonce was in Hamburg. So we had students that were buying tickets to those concerts. So it gave me that very idea that why don't we do this more often is plan things around concerts.
Right. Because you want to take a trip anyways. And then you get to see one of your favorite people there too. It's so fun. It's a win-win.
And with good friends that that what a memory and what a great experience that we have now, all of us. And now we've traveled together a little bit before, but with our adult daughters,
I know, so
if
special.
they actually want to come back with us and hang out with us, and we're crazy. And Wendy knows all the lyrics. I don't know all of them, but she learned all the lyrics. So
amazing. I love the videos of like parents holding their phone up with like they've like have all the lyrics on their phone so they can follow along at the concerts. So fun. So did you have any more time in Amsterdam after this, or is this when you guys split ways and Judy, you head off to see family?
Yeah, we really did. So the next morning we took off and flew home the next morning. So, but Judy and them stuck around and had more adventures.
Yeah, we stayed for another 6 days or 7 days. And we actually stayed, a fun time for me was to stay with some friends who have a farm, and they don't have a B&B, but it's sort of a B&B, a personal one. But yeah. That was fun to be on a Dutch farm outside the German border and just fantastic. And of course, I'm talking Taylor the whole time, right?
And did the locals seem happy that she was in town or kind of frustrated with all the hoopla?
I didn't notice anything negative at all. Like, I just didn't know what to expect, but no one seemed, I think all the business owners are thrilled. People are there spending money, and I didn't get any bad vibes or snottiness or anything from anybody. I didn't see anything like that at all.
Awesome. Okay, ladies, I end every episode with a question, and I'll give you both a chance to answer. And although listeners won't be able to see the Eras tour there, if someone out there listening is considering a trip to Amsterdam, what is it about this artistic city in the Netherlands that would make you say, just book it?
Well, I would say the architecture alone is absolutely gorgeous. Whether you're in the city, outside the city, you can't go wrong. It's breathtaking. It's one-of-a-kind scenes of these windmills, just the neat canals. I mean, all of it. Definitely book it.
Book it and realize that it's a very walkable, easy to get around city, and restaurants galore, all kinds of opportunities there. And you could spend as much money or as little money as you want. So really, there are a lot of opportunities there.
And lots of easy public transportation to hop on and off get from point A to point B.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tell people where they can find you both online.
Okay. Well, you can find me on all the social channels at Chair Whimsy. You can also find me at chairwhimsy.com, and I'm on YouTube as well.
And soon, when Taylor has the chairs in her house, we will be seeing a lot of you.
I hope so. We're manifesting it, right?
That's right. Manifest. Yeah, we do that. And you can find me at judyoscom.com. And my podcast is Stories of Change and Creativity. And I'm at Texas State University teaching and administrating the School of Journalism and Mass Comm.
Amazing. Well, thank you for being here today on Trip Tales. This is such an epic episode and like such a dream to take a trip like this with your daughters to see Taylor Swift left in Amsterdam. It's kind of like this is a memory you guys will have forever, and it just feels so special.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelsey, for having us. We enjoyed it. And again, always travel. You've got to go when you can. Go for the experience. You don't want to have any regrets. Just go.
Right.
That wraps up another episode of Trip Tales. If you have a trip you'd like to share about on the podcast, email me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com and I'll add you to the schedule. Also, be sure to follow the show so that you don't miss any upcoming vacation destinations. And if you have an extra minute in your day, please leave a review for the podcast. It helps more than you could imagine. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Trip Tales.